This seemed like this motion is a debatable motion, so it seemed like a good way to preserve our ability to discuss the budget for 4 hours when we get to that, should we choose to, and yet have the opportunity for folks to speak on the issue which Senator Conrad and Senator Arch raised before you. So I have filed this motion, and we have the ability to speak about it. And what I would ask of you, colleagues, is that I think that we've all had a judgment in our mind about the event last night, and that what I would ask you to do is to listen. Because in most situations, we can learn something from listening to each other. What happened last night was not okay. It wasn't. It was inappropriate. It was hurtful. It was not okay. I've known Senator Halloran over these last 6 years, and I do not think that that represents who he is. I hope Senator Halloran will listen to the folks who are upset about the incident last night, and I hope he will apologize. What many folks may be wondering about or thinking about right now is why we're taking the time to talk about this. It may seem to some like, oh, we shouldn't spend our time talking about this, or this is much ado about nothing, but that is not true. If you have not been in the situation to experience harassment, sexual violence, you maybe don't understand the ways in which those memories can be triggered. And when describing the reading from the transcript and then inserting a senator's name in there, already that's a problem. But the additional, I think it was meant to be perhaps some sort of maybe a gotcha moment, or a moment of something. But there was aggression in it, and that's where the danger lies. And 5 years ago, I think it was, I stood up in this chamber when Senator Chambers made a comment about a member in this body that I also believe went beyond the pale. And in that day and in that incident, I also stood up to support the senator who I thought should not have been treated in that way. And so I stand up in support of Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, and honestly also Senator John Kavanaugh and Senator Dungan. I agree with Senator Conrad that free speech includes speech we do not like, which we find abhorrent. I also think that as human beings and as people of integrity, we should stand up and call out that speech. And another little point I'll make, I was disappointed to see people laughing when Senator Michaela Cavanaugh was discussing this issue last night. And to the extent that some of you found it funny to see another colleague in pain, I would ask you to do better. I would ask us all to do better than to neglect the human beings that are in this very tough job with you. And that includes those who do things which we do not like. I do not ask those senators who were impacted I don't ask them to accept an apology, to move on, to any of those things, because that is not the appropriate thing to ask for. That is not okay. People get to feel how they feel, and we should take them seriously. I don't have the right words. I don't have the right words. I don't know who thought I would. We've got to be careful with each other because we are all human beings who deserve respect. We are all human beings who do not deserve the aggression. I'm messing this all up. I'm not saying the right things, but I call it. I hope we will listen to each other today. I hope we will listen to each other today because I do think this matters. I do think how we interact with each other in here matters, and I also don't think anybody should be thrown away. That is my policy when we're debating criminal justice, and it is my policy today. I hope that folks work
1 minute.
to regain the trust, though it will be hard. I hope we all take this seriously. I hope we don't laugh. I'm sorry I didn't do this justice. Thank you, Mr. President.